Jai Shri Krishna, the story of Mukunddasji and Dinkardasji. Mukunddasji and Dinkardasji were two sons of a Kayastha family living in the province of Marva. Their father died when they were only 10 to 12 years old. As the family was facing financial hardship, the two brothers decided to go to the large city of Kashi to earn a living to support their families. After earning a small fortune in a few years, they decided to return home. After winding up from their temporary home, the two brothers left Kashi one fine morning. Not far from Kashi, misfortune hit them both in the form of a poisonous snakebite to Mukunddasji. Dinkardasji brought his brother back to Kashi for a speedy treatment. They went to many doctors, but none could cure Mukunddasji, as none had an antidote for the poison. Dinkardasji brought his brother to the riverbank, thinking to commit suicide as he thought his brother had died. ShriMahaPrabhuji's disciple Krishnadasji came in there to fetch the holy water of Ganga. As he heard the sad story of these brothers, he felt compassionate and poured a few drops of the water, Charanamrut, which he had washed ShriMahaPrabhuji's pious feet with, into Mukunddasji's mouth. Instantly, Mukunddasji gained consciousness. He bowed down to Krishnadasji and said, "Please take me to ShriMahaPrabhuji." Krishnadasji brought both brothers to ShriMahaPrabhuji, who was at Shet Purushottamdasji's home. Both brothers offered respect to the great Guru and appealed to him to accept them as his disciples. Gladly, ShriMahaPrabhuji initiated both brothers with Brahm Sambandh mantra and asked them to spend a few days with him to learn the ways of Pushti Bhakti Marg. When the brothers were ready to return home, ShriMahaPrabhuji himself wrote Brahm Sambandh mantra on a piece of cloth and asked them to do its seva just like Krishna seva. Dinkardasji was much anguished over his separation from Bhagwan Krishna. He died 3 months later to be with his beloved Krishna. With the grace of ShriMahaPrabhuji, Mukunddasji became a very learned person who wrote a book, Mukund Sagar, presenting the entire Srimad Bhagavat in the poetic style of Vraj Bhasha, the language of Vraj province. He mastered the commentaries on Srimad Bhagavat written by ShriMahaPrabhuji. During Mukunddasji's stay in the city of Ujjain, working as a clerk for the local government, a scholarly Brahmin used to come to him regularly to teach him Srimad Bhagavat. Mukunddasji used to turn him away nicely, saying that he does not have time to listen to the Brahmin's discourses. After a while, Mukunddasji had to inform the Brahmin that ShriMahaPrabhuji's Bhagavat is different than the Bhagavat that the Brahmin wished to teach him, and so he's really not interested in listening to the Brahmin's discourses. Being a very persistent fellow, the Brahmin then changed his approach and kept on asking Mukunddasji to teach him Bhagavat, who always evaded him. But once the Brahmin caught Mukunddasji while he was bathing in the river and asked him to teach the Bhagavat. Mukunddasji selected one verse of Bhagavat and kept on explaining it for over 24 hours. The Brahmin accepted defeat and said, "Mukunddasji, you are a blessed soul, and your knowledge of the Bhagavat is beyond us." Mukunddasji lived his life as a devoted, knowledgeable Vaishnav until his death a few years later in Ujjain. The moral of Mukunddasji's and Dinkardasji's story is that Vaishnavs should not listen to religious discourses as given by non-Vaishnavs only because their interpretation of scriptures may be different than that of ShriMahaPrabhuji's, and so may be utterly confusing to Vaishnavs. Jai Shri Krishna.